What's up, fellas? I'm here. Went to my sister's house for Easter, and then we went and played pickleball. Actually, it was pretty fun. My sister, her fiance, me and Mariah and the kids for a couple hours. I've never played before. When I was in high school, we tried playing tennis for a little bit right after high school. This was a lot easier than tennis to get into it because the court's a lot smaller. It's a lot easier to hit the ball and stuff. But it was fun. I don't think I'm going to become one of those people like from the Midwest where their entire personality's pickleball, but it was fun. Yeah, I was thinking about not going live. Then I realized, I really missed too many. I'm already here. I might as well hang out with you for a little bit. But I don't know how many people will be like doing Easter stuff or have family over or whatever and not interested. That's fine too. I also have to get back to Patreon shows. I've been doing a really shitty job of doing Patreon shows, and that's a large amount of the income that supports like The Office and stuff. I got to get back on that. Peg Seth is in the middle of another scandal. That's true. I saw that a few hours ago. Yeah, I mean, the idiot, we'll read the article about it, but the idiot, the same, allegedly, right? The OIG is looking into it now for DOD, Inspector General. The same details he shared in a Signals chat group with arguably people that should have those details. He went about it wrong, right? First of all, the only person that shouldn't have been in there was the Atlantic reporter, but everybody else basically it could have those details. They're allowed to have those details, right? Just shouldn't have done it through Signal. Should have done it through a skiff or something else. Allegedly, he shared these exact same details with his wife and his brother and a bunch of other family friends. The same details, like strike times and weather forecasts and target packages, all that shit. He's an idiot.
Hey daddies, it's me, the Linda Binda from TikTok. I wanted to make this video because I wanted to thank you for watching Cold Beer Confessionals with Will Bird. I think that's just incredible. I've watched a few episodes and I'm just like very intrigued. But you know what I'm most intrigued in is Big Daddy's meat stick. I heard that it's very thick, like a good old German sausage. You know, Linda and her coochie loves that. Oh, never mind. Let's not go there. Anyways, I hope you have a good show and enjoy it as you can. There's a lot of weird things that go on, especially when it comes from the realm of Linda Bindaland. So, enjoy the show. Thanks for watching. Peace out.
Welcome. Happy Easter, everyone. I am Will Bird, and this is the Cold Beer Confessional. Before we get started, if you want to support the show, you want to keep it going, please do that at coldbeer.fund, coldbeer.fund, where you can find links to all my other social media websites, as well as donation links. So you can support the stream from there, leave a donation, help keep the show going, pay the bills around here. Thank you for that. Second was what I was just talking about. So I knew something was about to come out from the DOD. I had no idea what it was, but something was about to come out because 3 or 4 of the top DOD officials had just been sent home on leave pending an investigation. And I heard about this, 3 days ago? Pending an investigation into potential leaks. But we haven't heard about any leaks. Right? There haven't been any real big DOD leaks. Even the Signal stuff was not a leak because it was the guy from the Atlantic's the one who posted it, and he was in the group. So we knew something was going to happen. We just didn't know what. And I guess this is it. Hegseth had a second Signal chat where he shared details of Yemen strike, New York Times reports. Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth created another Signal messaging chat that included his wife and brother, where he shared similar details of a March military airstrike against Yemen's Houthi militants that were sent in another chain with top Trump administration leaders. The New York Times reported, the best that he can hope for, if the OIG is looking into this, and it's an honest investigation, the best that he can hope for is he at least pulled out some of the details. The worst possible thing that he could have done is if he copied and pasted the same message to both groups, he's fucked. He's fucked. Like maybe he said, instead of saying they're taking off at 1200 hours, he said they'll be taking off shortly. Something like that. But if he copied and pasted the same exact message, he's fucked. And anybody in the military knows this. He was in the military. He knows this. If it was me or you or anybody else, a regular guy in the military, we'd be fucked. We'd be fucked. That were sent in another chain with top Trump administrative leaders, the New York Times reported. A person familiar with the contents and those who received the messages, who spoke on condition of anonymity to discuss sensitive matters, confirmed the second chat to the Associated Press. The second chat on Signal, which is a commercially available app, not authorized to be used to communicate sensitive or classified national defense information, included 13 people, the person said. They also confirmed the chat was dubbed Defense Team Huddle. the reason I think it's called Defense Team Huddle are these are the people that were around him, his closest people, when he was going through confirmation. When stuff was coming out about him and he had to answer questions and he was keeping people updated when he was going through confirmation to become the leader of the DOD. The New York Times reported that the group included Hegseth's wife, Jennifer, who is a former Fox News producer, his brother, Phil, who was hired at the Pentagon as the Homeland Security liaison and senior advisor. Both have traveled with Defense Secretary and attended high-level meetings. Now, he had some heat about his high-level meetings taking his wife to potentially classified information. The White House late Sunday, just dismissed the reports as a non-story, suggesting that disgruntled former Pentagon employees were spreading false claims. So again, the same way he landed on the tarmac in Hawaii and said, I can guarantee you that no war plans were sent to anybody. I'd love to talk about how great our message was. And this guy peddles in lies and half-truths and makes shit up. Same thing. We're just going to deny it. No matter how many times the legacy media tries to resurrect the same non-story, this is not the same non-story. They can't change the fact that no classified information was shared, said Anna Kelly, White House Deputy Press Secretary. Recently fired leakers are continuing to misrepresent the truth to soothe their shattered egos and undermine the president's agenda, but the administration will continue to hold them accountable. The revelation of the additional chat group brought fresh criticism against Hegseth and President Donald Trump's wider administration after it has failed to take action so far against the top national security officials who discussed plans for the military strike and signal. Meritocracy. The details keep coming out. We keep learning how Pete Hegseth put lives at risk, but Trump is too weak to fire him. Senate Democratic leader Chuck Schumer posted on X. Pete Hegseth must be fired. The first chat, set up by National Security Fireman Mike Waltz, included a number of cabinet members and came to light because Jeffrey Goldberg, editor-in-chief of The Atlantic, was added to the group. Remember, they called him a liar. They said he's making this up. There's no way. Then they tried to blame him. Like, we got Elon Musk and a bunch of hackers looking in to see if he did this intentionally. You think he forced you to add him to the group intentionally? Okay. The contents of the chat, which The Atlantic published, shows that Hegseth listed weapon systems and a timeline for the attack on the Iran-backed Houthis in Yemen last month. The National Security Council and the Pentagon spokesperson did not immediately respond to messages seeking comment about the additional chat group. Hegseth has previously contended that no classified information on war plans were shared in the chat with the journalist. He still says there were no war plans. So trying to be more accurate, The Atlantic says, well, it's attack plans. You know, they're like, see, no war plans. They admitted it. They're just attack plans. Same fucking thing to the layman. I think it would have been a really interesting Easter if, but for some reason, a foreign government had gotten into this, had a copy of this and released it, between him telling his wife and his brother and a bunch of other idiots. The Times reported Sunday that the second chat had the same warplane launch times that the first chat included. Multiple former and current officials have said sharing those operational details before a strike would have certainly been classified, and their release could have put pilots in danger. Hegseth used the signal, and the sharing of such plans are under investigation by the Defense Department's acting inspector general. It came at the request of leadership of the Senate Armed Services Committee, Republican Chairman Roger Wicker of Mississippi, and ranking Democratic member Jack Reed of Rhode Island. Reed urged the IG late Sunday to probe the reported second signal chat as well, saying that Hegseth must immediately explain why he reportedly texted classified information that could endanger American service members' lives. I have grave concerns about Secretary Hegseth's ability to maintain the trust and confidence of U.S. service members and the commander-in-chief, he added. The new revelations come amid further turmoil at the Pentagon. 4 officials in Hegseth's inner circle departed last week as the Pentagon conducts a widespread investigation for information leaks. But we haven't seen these big leaks. There hasn't been nothing crazy that came, you know what I'm saying? Like, there hasn't been these crazy big, like, that you would expect from a fucking inner circle member from the head of the DOD. You know what I mean? Like, I haven't seen them. So it says Dan Caldwell, who's a Hegseth aide, Colin Carroll, who's the chief of staff to the deputy defense secretary, Stephen Feinberg, and Derek Selnick, Hegseth's deputy chief of staff, so his assistant chief of staff, were escorted out of the Pentagon on Friday, or last week, I guess. While the three initially had been placed on leave pending the investigation, a joint statement shared by Caldwell on X on Saturday said the three still have not been told what exactly we were investigated for, and if there's still an active investigation, or if there was even a real investigation of leaks to begin with. They haven't even confirmed it. They just told, you're escorted out, there's an investigation going on, you may come back, may not, but they don't even know if there's a real investigation going on. That's just what they were told. Caldwell was the staff member designated as Hegseth's point person in the Signal chat. So you remember when this first came out, everybody was asked, who is your point person? Who is your point of contact? Who should we contact if we have like pertinent information and can't get a hold of you? Who are you authorizing for us to contact? And one of them was Caldwell. Caldwell was Hegseth's point of contact in case they needed to get a hold of him. He was authorized to speak for him. And now he's a leaker. Sounds like some paranoia setting in because they have no fucking idea where the information is coming from. Right? You wouldn't have a guy assigned to be your fucking point of contact if anything comes up and you can't get a hold of me while we're attacking a foreign country. And then the next 2 weeks later, you're like, he's a leaker, I think. Somebody's leaking it. Former Pentagon spokesperson John Olyott also announced he was resigning last week unrelated to the leaks. So this guy, Olyott, maybe, he says, I'm resigning, but it's unrelated to the leaks. But then the Pentagon comes out and says that he was asked to resign. So that was wild, right? Here's their statement. This is from joint statement from Dan Caldwell, Colin Carroll, and Darren Selnick. We are incredibly disappointed by the manner in which our service at the Department of Defense ended. Unnamed Pentagon officials have slandered our character with baseless attacks on our way out the door. All three of us served our country honorably in uniform. For two of us, this included deployments to the wars in Iraq and Afghanistan. And based on our collective service, we understand the importance of information security and worked every day to protect it. At this time, by the way, if they really were leaking information, national defense information, they would have prosecuted them. If they had real evidence that it was these guys, they would have prosecuted them. But they're just told, go home, you'll be back, we're doing an investigation. At this time, we still have not been told what exactly we were investigated for. If there is still an active investigation, or if there was even a real investigation of leaks to begin with. While this experience has been unconscionable, we remain supportive of the Trump-Vance administration's mission to make the Pentagon great again and achieve peace through strength. We hope in the future to support those efforts in different capacities. This is making scapegoats. Again, if they found out that these people, they could prove they were leaking, it probably wouldn't be all three of them to begin with. It'd be one of them, and they'd be prosecuted. This is how you make scapegoats. So now when anything bad comes out, like they were probably expecting this second Signal chat leak to come out, when that comes out, they can say, oh, that's a bunch of people that we had to fire because they suck and they're horrible and nobody likes them and they're losers and that one guy's got a real skinny neck, fuck him, or whatever Trump does, you know what I mean? Whatever Trump does, that's it. So there you go. That's probably why he was fired. He just published an op-ed in Politico about how chaotic it's been. That's probably why he was forced to resign. I saw this video headline. I don't know if this is just clickbait, but we'll see. It says Carolyn Levitt's secret past exposed as Deming scandal comes out. It's probably just clickbait, but I haven't had a chance to watch it yet. I'll watch it with you guys on this beautiful Easter night.
A now reoccurring character on the show is Caroline Levitt, the White House press secretary, whose job is to defend the
This is Luke Beasley, by the way. Make sure you check him out.
Invincible, tell the truth about lies, impossible, etc. And I didn't know this about her, but I have someone who has some interesting information to share with us about a little scandal that is not going to get much attention, unfortunately, about Caroline.
Is it her campaign finances?
Levitt. Brittany Page, thanks for being back with us.
Hi, Luke. So happy to be here.
So tell me, what's this about her 2022 congressional campaign and a little funny bit?
Okay. Yeah. So there is some weird things about her campaign finances. Those came out a while back, but they didn't get a whole lot of attention. We talked about them here. First of all, her now husband, was not her husband then. He's an older guy. He basically financed a bunch of it. And then they ended up getting married. He's much older than she is and very wealthy. Second of all, it seems like she didn't allocate the funds right, and still owes a bunch of the donors money back because she didn't spend it and she didn't use it, and it was donated. It's a weird situation. But if you look at the way she filed her forms, they don't add up.
Business.
Yeah, so we don't have a lot of answers on what exactly is happening, but it does not look good. And like you said, it's probably not going to get enough attention, but it really should be getting more attention because it appears like Caroline Levitt is up to something. So this starts back in January of this year, just days after they entered the White House. And Notice came out with some reporting that Trump's White House press secretary revealed.
I will say this. Somebody said, anyone can lie like all of Trump's. There's something that I hate, but I also know it's part of the system that we live in. And that's political spin. Okay? So with political spin, unemployment numbers go up, right? Let's say unemployment numbers go up a little bit. And one side says, oh my God, unemployment numbers went up. Nobody's working. They're all going to be on unemployment and blah, blah, blah. We're losing jobs. The other side can say, well, there's a huge group of qualified people now. So if you're looking to open a business, we have this pool of people that are ready to go to work, right? They're just sitting here. They're not working. So you've got the labor ready to go. That's spin, okay? And I understand that a certain amount of spin is going to go on each side. And that's what Fox News used to do versus like CNN, right? They would both put spin on it. They would both use it to kind of support their preferred parties. We have entered an era of just outright lies now. So now unemployment goes up 3,000 fold, and one side says, oh, unemployment went up 3,000 fold. This is terrible, which it is. And the other side says, no, it isn't. Nope. The left is doctoring the numbers. They're making it look like that isn't true. Nope, it didn't. Not happening. We know the real unemployment. We just can't tell you it. But it's much lower than what these crazy leftists are telling you. Like, those are complete fucking lies. That's not spin. That's not partisan. You're just fucking lying. Even when we can see it. Like, no war plans were sent to anybody. I can guarantee you that. But we read them all. We saw them. We already read them. They are war plans. It doesn't make any sense. I don't think anybody should stand for it.
Her failed campaign spent $200,000 in illicit contributions. And this reporting just revealed that her failed congressional campaign, because in case people don't know, she had a failed 2022 congressional campaign. After she took the White House, she amended every FEC filing that her campaign had ever made to...
That was what it was. So after she got to the White House, she amended every FEC filing she'd ever made.
Reveal that she failed to disclose hundreds of thousands of dollars in excessive contributions that she never paid back in violation of the law. Now, how surprising is that, right? Because there's law and order. We're super concerned about the law and order.
Do you think that, I mean, we're going to make noise about it because I think that it should be made noise about. I think that members of the press in the briefing should ask her about it, right? I think it should be brought up to her fucking face. But do you think she'll ever have this looked into by a prosecutor or by the Justice Department or by anybody? Of course not. Trump's got loyalists now.
Making sure that everything's above board, doing things the right way, right? I mean, that's what this White House is about.
My faith in humanity. If the Trump White House is corrupt.
By the way, I've been watching a lot of clips of MAGA people, okay? And when you show them beyond a shadow of a doubt, like, this is the way it used to work. This is the way it used to work. And this is the way that it works now under Trump. And he always said it shouldn't work this way. He always said that was illegal. He said those people should be prosecuted. And now he's changing the rules. He's not following the law. He's not following the Constitution. When you back them into that corner, that he's supposed to be the guy for law and order, you know, and he's clearly violating this stuff and not following Constitution, not following judicial orders, not doing this. Their new excuse is, well, Joe Biden did it for 4 years. One of their favorite ones is, well, Joe Biden was told that it was unconstitutional to forgive student debts, and he did it anyways, which isn't even true. Joe Biden had a plan to forgive student debt. He took it to someone took it to the Supreme Court and challenged it. They said, no, you can't do it like this. He said, okay, we won't. Let me come up with a new plan. And they wrote out an entirely new plan that didn't seem to violate the issues that the Supreme Court had with his original plan. I talked to a person today that took out $26,000 in student loan debt. Okay? They've been paying on it, and they've paid almost $30,000 back. And they still owe $28,000. They took out 26, they've paid like 29 something, and they still owe 28. That's insane. This burden that you shackled these people with for years and years and years. Young kids straight out of high school, don't understand, don't know how it works, not up to it, and they sign these loans. It's ridiculous.
Corrupt, then what do I do? The vast majority of that debt, about $200,000, is owed as refunds to contributors who appear to have donated above the legal limits. Those excessive contributions went unreported for years until Thursday, when Levitt's campaign amended every campaign filing. Maybe you read that already, but just refreshing myself, congressional candidates can technically accept campaign donations exceeding contribution limits as long as they refund the contributor or redesignate the funds within 60 days. According to federal campaign finance law, Levitt's campaign committee appears to have done neither. You know, Brittany, these congressional campaigns can really, it's like they don't even, I'm assuming she failed miserably. I don't know why, I'm just assuming that, but maybe she came close to winning in the primary. But this sort of,
especially people that have paid off well above the principal, right? Like if you added up all their payments, they've paid the principal plus some. Like, get the fuck out of here. My sister got student loan debt forgiveness because she went and became a teacher for 10 years. Right. And then at the end of however many years she had to serve, they forgave the rest of her loan as a teacher. But a lot of people are still saddled with that.
You run a campaign. It doesn't even seem like you think there's a chance you're going to win. And then you don't even come close. But it's just a few month period for you to have a slush fund of cash to do whatever with. Very strange. And often campaign finance law is not enforced like it should be.
Well, and so that's where we get to the update now, because that initial reporting was in January. So now there's a few new details. And this is from Roger Solenberger, formerly of the Daily Beast. I don't think he's officially with another outlet. I think he's just an independent political reporter now. But he posted on Twitter, Caroline Levitt's failed 2022 campaign is still reporting hundreds of thousands of dollars in debt, much of it inexplicable. She refunded her mom for some reason and an entity called EMJ Holdings that didn't donate to her and doesn't have an address. So the main issue here being, right, there's several questions. Like, why is she paying people who don't actually need refunds, right? Because they didn't give to her, like this company that doesn't have an address. And why isn't she refunding the people that actually need refunds? So Notice actually came out with updated reporting following this Roger Solenberger tweet. And in that reporting, they write the White House press secretary refunded about $12,000 of the more than $320,000 she still owes from her failed congressional race, according to a new campaign finance filing. So far this year, the campaign paid back just 5 of the roughly 100 people and organizations it owes money to. But among the few people Levitt did refund, she paid her parents, and she paid her husband, and she paid this company that didn't even donate to her campaign. So she's paying her family members money, and she's paying this company that didn't even donate to her campaign. what is happening here?
Care Bear. What's happening over there?
Do you think that she's praying before she goes out there on the press conference? She's praying for an answer because she needs to explain this.
Yeah, I don't know if y'all saw that video, but before she goes out for her press briefing, she prays, which is fine. But then it makes you.
The fact that you would compare a secured collateral loan and an unsecured loan, just make your renting even more unbearably dumb.
You wonder, what is she praying to? Like, what? Dear Lord, please let me lie really, really, really well. I don't know why sometimes I'll just start speaking a little bit in Trump's voice. Please let me lie a little bit well. Even though it's
Well,
not
they're
him.
all kind of
One more payment. Good deal, you idiot.
Yeah. And you know what this story kind of reminded me of? I will plug in the clip in just a second here, but some MAGA candidate was running for Senate and went on friend of the show, David Pakman's show, and tried to defend his campaign spending money at a strip club. Here's a reminder of
That's
that.
when he asked David if he had ever gone to a strip club, right?
He'll do that.
You brought up strip clubs. It was recently revealed you spent campaign donations at a strip club. Is that true?
That's not true.
Okay. It's been sourced very well by the Daily Beast. Where did they
It's
get
not
this
the
information?
Daily Beast. First of all, the Daily Beast is not a good source. That's number one. But number two, it wasn't well sourced even in that article at all. It was a reference to a campaign filing with
Yes.
the FEC that was not done properly.
Who didn't do the filing properly?
Whoever was in charge of the filing.
And who was that?
Well, there were a number of people I would assume who were in charge
Ultimately, you. Right. You can say, I hired this person. It's ultimately you.
of getting that accounting done, but it wasn't.
You don't know who the people are doing your accounting?
Oh, yeah, I know exactly. I know who they are. Do you want me to list the entire list of people who worked on it?
Yeah.
So you have time for me to go through a list of people who worked on the filing, but you don't have time to talk about the details of the political issues you want to
Well,
discuss?
how many people is it?
Give me a break. Who do you people think you're fooling?
I don't think we're fooling
Who do
anybody.
you people think you're fooling?
So the people who
I
prepared
answered the question.
reports.
I answered the question.
I'm
The
trying to
question is
understand
no.
it, Royce. The people who
question is no.
prepared the
The
reports.
answer is no.
The people
The answer
who
to your question is no.
I haven't even asked the question yet.
You did. You asked, did I spend campaign finance money on strippers? That
And
answer
you
is no.
responded, and now I want to ask a follow-up.
Okay.
Your claim is there were filings which said you spent campaign funds at a strip club, but they were
No,
incorrect filings.
no, they didn't say that I spent the funds at a strip club. Or no, let's say they didn't say that I spent the funds on strippers.
But it was spent at a strip club.
Well, strip club they sell food at the strip club, don't
So
they?
you spent the money on food at a strip club. Is that more accurate?
You seem to be very unfamiliar with strippers and strip clubs and drag strip shows.
So it's just food at a strip club. Got it.
So I'll inform you, maybe you aren't informed, that they do have food at strip clubs.
So what you're saying is the money was
No, wait,
spent
did you
at
know
a
that
strip
though?
club.
Did you know that?
I know strip clubs have
Have you ever been to a strip club?
one time.
Did you like the food?
No.
You got to go to better strip clubs then.
Okay. But so what you're saying is you did spend the money at strip clubs, but on food. Is that right?
Well, I'm not saying that I spent the money. I'm saying that there was a filing on my FEC report that shouldn't have been there and potentially should have been reimbursed by somebody who may have been at the strip club, but that there is food at the strip club. So to say it was spent on strippers is not based on factual evidence.
I didn't say that.
Especially not from the day you did.
I said strip club, not strippers.
I found out she called ABC to deal with the comments made. Whoopi and Behar are gone. Whoopi Goldberg and Joy Behar are gone. I doubt that.
No, well, okay. Well,
Which is
that's
the
what
Do you have a source for that?
It's the same thing you're saying, right? So we
But
agree.
that's what's been implied by the
The
Daily
money
Beast
was
and other
spent
people as
at
well.
the strip club by someone else in your campaign on
That's
food.
what's been implied by the Daily Beast and other mainstream media outlets as well.
And what's the truth?
I just told you.
Someone else bought food at a strip
No,
club with campaign funds.
no. I told you about the FEC filing. You seem to have a lot of time for this one.
NBC News said they're fired.
Well, it's because you're so obviously lying.
So yeah, it's really upsetting to know, and I think part of the reason you're bringing this up is for this reason. That there's just too many things going on.
The only thing I can find is a weird Facebook post. It says, shocking showbiz, Joy Behar fired from The View immediately after Carolyn Levitt exposed shocking statements. That was the truth behind the scandal that shook America. Full story below. But it goes to a fake website. There's a one for Whoopi Goldberg as well. Maybe. I don't know.
That whatever funny business is going on, whatever fishiness is happening, it's not going to get any attention. And also, it would have to be Pam Bondi's DOJ to look into this, and that's not happening.
Yeah, I mean, it would be pardons. It would be no investigation begins anyway. I mean, that's the unfortunate thing here. And I think that's why when this original notice reporting came out in January, it was just days after she became press secretary, after they came into the White House. I mean, they entered the White House January 20th. The reporting came out that she had updated her FEC filings on January 23rd. So it's almost like, hey, guys, we have the cover of the White House. We have the cover of the Trump administration. Now it's time for us to update these filings. We don't really need to worry about this because there's a 5-alarm fire.
So she literally waited until she had the protection of the White House, right? She's part of the White House to update all of her filings and be like, oh, yeah, I didn't pay any of these people back. Sorry.
Every hour happening, and there's no way that this is going to rise to the top of the headline.
And she just claims that literally the day after she was named press secretary and started her job there, she just claims that was just, we just updated them, filled them all out today. Months and months behind, and all of them at once the day after you get appointed As press secretary?
Just with everything that has to be reported.
Yeah, that's what I'm seeing, Kev. Facebook posts.
You know, Caroline Leavitt's situation that she has going on here is not as important as many other issues, but it just speaks to the rampant ongoing corruption in the Trump administration that they can't be held accountable for. And that is really concerning on many levels.
Yeah, and I cannot even imagine all of the little things. Like, there's all these small ethical rules and then different laws that members of obviously here we're talking about a candidate for a political campaign, but even just all the members of the Trump administration and being an official in the government that you're supposed to abide by, and that I guess you would fear you get punished if you broke these rules. But now it's just, I mean, Trump's blatantly violating Supreme Court orders and doing whatever the hell he wants. And so why would some underling follow an ethics rule about this, that, or the other thing? It's really sad. And I do think it's going to undermine, even long past the Trump administration, the dedication people have to those institutional guardrails and norms. Brittany, where can people support your work?
Yeah, you can find me right here on YouTube, Brittany Page. I host the Page Perspective, where I talk a lot about public policy, politics, psychology, things in my wheelhouse. So I would love for you to check me out there, and you can check out the link below.
There you go. It seems like more has come out since we covered it, but she did fuck with her filings. Right as soon as she seemed to have the protection of the White House, which is wild. There's been a bunch of clips come out on this channel. Let's check this channel out. Here are the wild things Trump supporters say at this point. If you don't know this podcast, it's called The Necessary Conversation, and their parents are big Trump supporters. This guy seems like more like slightly liberal. His sister seems even maybe more liberal than he is. And they interview their parents in this podcast. It's like an hour or 2 hours long every day, and they talk about whatever the news is going on that week for Trump or whatever. And it makes me so mad sometimes hearing their stupid ass fucking response. But it's a window into the mind of how the fuck they think. Right? It's a window into the mind of how the fuck they think. So yeah, let's check this out. Let's start here. This will give us some to go through.
Do you think Donald Trump lied about being able to do this in a day?
No.
But he clearly didn't do it in a day. It's been 106 days.
This is the Ukraine question. He would end that war within one day before he's even in office.
He could have done it in 30 seconds.
And yet he
could have done it in 30 seconds. Then why don't he?
He did not do it. I am agreeing.
He didn't lie. He did not lie. He did not believe Zelensky would sell out the country for money, but he did.
Okay, Dad, I'll say, I don't believe that that's true, but
the dad makes me want to throat punch people in video games.
Let's say it is. Let's say you're right. Shouldn't,
because I think it's not frustration with the dad. It's the fact that I live in a town that is solely populated by the dad.
Smart enough to figure out that's what was going to happen with all of his businessman acumen?
No, because he actually thought Zelensky cared about his country.
I wouldn't call.
But he doesn't.
He's literally fighting for his country. Literally.
No, he's not.
Okay.
He literally is not fighting for his country.
Okay. They show him amongst soldiers, like on the battlefield.
Nice photo op.
I did say, yes, he did not do that. I do agree with you on that in one day. But is that a lie, really?
No.
I don't know.
He ran on that promise. He did not deliver on that promise. That's a lie.
I'm saying he didn't do it.
Well, hey, first of all.
So even the mom has this weird issue where she can't admit that he lied. I'm saying he didn't do it. Was that a lie? I can't say that. But I'm saying he didn't do what he said he was going to do. Then what would you call a lie?
It wasn't a promise. It was a prediction.
But what I'm saying is,
you can't lie about a prediction if it didn't come true.
Do you think Donald Trump lied?
It wasn't a promise. It was a prediction. You can't lie about a prediction.
Dad, should climate science be funded?
No.
Why?
Because it doesn't exist.
The climate doesn't exist?
The climate changes that everybody talks about do not exist.
Okay. Do you believe there are...
Wasting money on whether we're going to be a half a degree warmer in Dallas, Texas than we were 10 years ago means absolutely nothing.
Okay. So do you think...
And then, by the way, the only thing that controls climate in this world is China and India because they're burning coal like a motherfucker.
Okay. So do you think...
We don't have anything to do with climate in the United States.
Okay.
So do you think then that the entirety of climatological science, every scientist investigating this stuff, spending their lives, dedicating themselves to this field of study, that it's all for nothing. It's all irrelevant.
Waste of time.
Do you believe there are any other scientific fields like that?
Not really. I think the climate argument is so old and so archaic, and the people who are for it.
Sometimes I think you might be fucking retarded. You think the argument here is no politician lies and Trump lied, so that makes him different. You think that's the argument anybody's setting up here? Or do you think the argument is he knew he was lying when he made this promise, right? And it's very telling that people can't even come out that support him and say, he fucked up, he lied. That was one on him. Yeah, go to the next one. The very fact that when someone brings up Trump lying, you go to every other politician shows exactly who the fuck you are.
There's just as many scientists who are against it.
That's wrong.
And it doesn't mean anything. And when you take
God damn, lay off the fucking lead paint, you stupid fucking cunt.
Complex in the world, stacked up against billions of people in China and India who are building coal plants like it's going out of style.
Bye.
We have zero to do with climate change. Therefore, spending money in our universities that should be doing something for the United States of America instead of the world, we ought to cut their asses off. Any money going to any research for climate change in any American university should be cut off at the knees. Zero.
Dad.
It's the weird worship fallacy, right? Like, of course other politicians lie. And when they lie, we call them out and say, that's not what he said. No, he said he was going to do this. He's changing it now. Oh, wasn't he in favor of this? Wasn't he in favor of that? Now he's changed his mind. But they cannot. They may even say, well, he did say one thing, but he didn't do that thing. But they will not be caught saying that he lied or deceived them or that he only said it to get elected, when everybody's fine calling out every other fucking politician in the world, saying, oh, yeah, he probably said that to get elected. Oh, yeah, I think there's a difference between what he says to get elected and what they'll actually do.
All the district judges and stuff have
all the district judges, George Soros.
been put in place by George Soros.
That's not true. Trump has
Georgesaurus.
They contradict everything in the Constitution. Therefore, the legal, judicial side of the equation no longer exists.
Okay.
What the hell? I don't.
They contradict everything inside the Constitution. So the legal judicial side of this thing doesn't exist. Technically, the Supreme Court and their lower courts, the federal courts, interpret the Constitution. So they can't violate it. Whatever they say is technically their interpretation of the Constitution at that point. Can it get overridden? Can it get changed? Absolutely. But when they say it, that is in line with the Constitution until someone else says, well, actually, this is more in line with the Constitution.
I can't follow anything you're saying. The math of this ain't mathing. What are you talking about?
What do you mean? What am I talking about? I'm talking about.
You said George Soros put all the federal judges in place?
Are you going to let me tell you, or are you going to talk?
Of all people to say that.
There are district court judges. There are appellate court judges. They've all been put in place to obstruct justice. The Supreme Court does not overrule them. They sit there and watch them interfere with everything Donald Trump's trying to do. And once again, who's the law?
The law.
Who's the law?
What?
Donald Trump.
In this case, the Supreme Court. You're talking about like lower courts?
Yes, they are corrupting the Supreme Court.
How? The Supreme Court has 3 justices on it appointed by Trump himself.
So what?
So how can it be corrupted?
How's 3 out of 9 give you comfort?
They have a majority conservative judge
so what?
base.
No, that's not true. John Roberts is flip-flop fish. So don't give me, you stop with your damn Supreme Court stuff, because, again.
If one of the ones Trump appointed is flip-flop fish, whatever the fuck that means, then Trump did a bad job of appointing him.
Who's the law?
Okay, moving on.
All the district judges and stuff are.
Trump's the law. He is the law. So he can't violate the law because he is the law, according to this guy's dad. There's a couple more.
Mom, should a president be able to aim the Department of Justice, weaponize it, if you will, at whoever he wants, political opponents, U.S. citizens?
If they have done treason, yes.
They haven't done treason.
There should be more. He should be able to call in. They need to investigate. They need to investigate. He has every right to do that.
They didn't do anything.
Where'd Dad go?
How do you know?
Now Dad's gone?
Let them investigate and find out.
But hang on a minute. Where the is Dad?
Where do you think?
I don't know.
He took his
Under investigation?
toddler pee-pee break.
He's in the bathroom.
I'm begging you. Both of you, can you pee before the show?
I asked him to. I don't know if he did. You want him to sit here and pee his pants?
No, I want him to pee before the show.
Okay, we're 45 minutes in. He had to pee. We're old. Old people pee a lot.
Mom, should a president be able to aim the Department of Justice? What if Donald Trump issues an executive order to investigate everybody who does a YouTube show that is against Trump?
I love it.
Would you be okay with them coming after me and Haley?
No, that'd be terrible. That's why I want you not to be on that side. I want you to be on.
Listen, now it takes you a second. It seems like a mother caring for her kid at first glance. It takes you a second. Would you want the Trump administration to investigate me and Haley, your children? And the mom says, no, that would be horrible. But how does she remedy that situation? Not by saying we have freedom of speech, anybody can say whatever they want, blah, 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 right? She remedies that situation by saying, that's why I don't want you on that side. You should come to our side so you don't get investigated. So you aren't silenced. So they don't weaponize the judicial system against you. You should come to our side. Not free speech. Everybody has free speech. You're fucking American citizens. I'm your mom. I know that more than anybody. Nope. Come to our side so you don't get investigated.
So that is against Trump.
I love it.
Would you be okay with them coming after me and Haley?
No, that'd be terrible. That's why I want you not to be on that side. I want you to be on our side.
I mean, they're doing it right now on college.
I want you to be on our side. They are literally 100% okay. Trump supporters are 100% okay with anything he does to people that disagree with him. Well, they probably deserved it. Well, they were supporting a terrorist. Well, they have gang tattoos. Well, they're brown. Well, they said mean things about Trump. Well, they said mean things about his administration. Well, Trump, they said something that they claim was true, but Trump said it was a lie, so they can go to jail.
Campuses, anyone who was part of a protest that was...
Yeah, you're revoked.
Anyone that was part of a Palestinian protest...
You're revoked.
They're going after them. And they are literally, there were, I think they said almost 40 students here, UNT and TWU, that they are revoking visas. They are not allowed to re-up, and they're going to kick them out of the country. These are students here legally.
Damn straight.
So are you afraid, Haley, of all the stuff you do? Would you not be afraid?
It, I guess.
You're not understanding, Mom. You shouldn't have to be afraid in America. It's freedom of speech, the First Amendment. Dad, you're constantly talking about that on this very show.
Oh, but it was okay for Joe Biden's administration to do it for 4 years.
Do what?
Exactly what you're talking about.
Not have
using the DOJ and everybody else to go after people who didn't agree with him. He did that.
Like who?
Don't sit here with those eyebrows.
Who? Again, when they run out of answers, Joe Biden did it. And if he did it, now Trump's going to do it, damn it.
Oh, but it was okay for Joe Biden's administration to do it for 4 years.
Do what?
Exactly what you're talking about.
not have
Using the DOJ
Not have freedom, says the mom.
and everybody else to go after people.
What freedom did you not have under Joe Biden? Were they snatching people up off the street and trying to ship them to a foreign prison for sounding too brown under Joe Biden? Is that something that happened?
People who didn't agree with him. He did that.
Like who?
Don't sit here with those eyebrows and give me that crap.
Who did he go after?
Everybody that was on our side.
Give me a name.
Well,
He went after Donald Trump.
Well,
Like Mar-a-Lago went
first
through her underwear drawer.
No.
Mar-a-Lago went through her underwear drawer.
For committing crimes.
What if Donald Trump issues an executive order to investigate everybody who does a YouTube show that is against?
Wild. No, I don't want you investigated for just using your freedom of speech and it's critical of the president. But the way you avoid that is by not being critical of the president and joining our side, or you're going to be investigated, says the mom.
Dad, Do you think most Americans want to see Trump do this parade?
Sure.
Yeah, as
This is the $90 million birthday parade for Trump.
by all of the protests that are being organized on large scales all around the country, the answer is no.
Yeah, the reason you say that is because it's the protests, which don't amount to 20% of the population. So blow it.
I'm not talking about the protests or anything like that. I'm talking about, do you
No,
think...
I'm not talking to you, Chad. I was talking to Haley.
Well, I'm talking to all of you.
All of those people that are protesting don't want this. 50% of the country does not want this.
No, the protesters don't want it.
Mom and Dad, do you want this?
Yeah.
Do you want him to spend $90 million of taxpayer money for this?
Why not?
Because $90 million could go anywhere else.
But it's just a drop in the bucket compared to the 300.
Probably a minimum of 90 million. Doesn't loss of revenue, closing businesses, repairing the roads, shit like that.
50 billion we're sending the Ukrainians.
Okay.
Nothing.
What does that have to do with this?
Okay, I will say 90 million is quite a big amount of money.
$92 million is a spot in the bucket, and I want him to have his parade.
Dad, do you think most
92 million's a drop in the bucket. And then the last part's very interesting. I want him to have his parade. His parade.
Trump...
They don't even care. So like Trump's at least trying to spin it and say it's not my fucking birthday parade. It's for the 250-year anniversary or birthday of the Army. But his supporters don't even care. They're like, hell yeah, it's for his birthday. Let's do it. Let's do a birthday parade every year for Trump. Let's make it a national holiday.
Trump now is in a position to determine what universities can and cannot research, talk about, protest, etc. So let's say he cuts all the funding from what you perceive to be anti-Semitic protests and climate change. What's next?
Women.
He doesn't stop there. What does he come for after that? Women's studies is probably next.
How do you know he doesn't stop there?
Because it never stops.
He's an authoritarian.
How do you know? He hadn't done this before.
This is what authoritarians do. He is doing it.
First of all, you are 100% speculation. You don't know what he's going to do. And Haley, you don't know what he's going to do because this is the first time he's done it.
He's already done it. Roe v. Wade is gone.
We'll just sit back and wait and see how far he goes. And then when he stops, we'll say, well, there's where he was going to stop at.
He didn't do that.
He did that.
No, he didn't do that.
Yes, he did. He did that.
He didn't do it.
He took credit for it.
It's all right. He can take credit for whatever he wants because he's the
president.
He's the law.
Trump now is in a position.
He's the law. He's the law.
Trump is telling the courts, you.
Doesn't it make you want to punch his dad? Like I might lose it in a video game if I see his dad on the street.
That's right.
I am not doing what you're saying. Trump is telling the courts, you.
That's right.
I'm not doing what you're saying. That, I think, is a problem.
I'm telling the courts, you.
Well, you can't, though.
You, courts.
If you tell the courts, you, or I do, or Haley does, or Mom does, we go to jail immediately.
What do you think?
Trump is acting outside.
No, we don't think it. I mean, like, get a court order and tell him to fuck off. You're doing it anyways. You will go to jail.
Outside of those parameters, do you think the president should be able to do things, at least legally, that no other U.S. citizen can?
Yes.
In regard to a criminal like this guy that would come back and grab one of my granddaughters and yes.
There's a United States prison for that also.
Not for people from El Salvador.
Deporting people to other countries illegally?
No, that's where he's from.
Is terrifying.
That's his country of origin. That's where he's supposed to be living.
Trump is telling the court.
That's actually the only place they couldn't send him. I'm guessing he said, fucking rape my granddaughters, I'm assuming is what she said.
You guys support all of these things Trump is doing.
Yes, correct.
And Dad, you have said you're even.
Because everybody knows he's a documented rapist. They're just making shit up about him now. He would rape my granddaughter. Is he any more likely to rape anybody than any random fucking person walking down the street you don't know?
Even down to, in quotes, lose a few bods, meaning people. You guys support all of these things Trump is doing.
Yes, correct.
And Dad, you have said you're even down to, in quotes, lose a few bods, meaning people.
That's right.
And so do you think that that is justifiably in the right?
Yes.
Are you righteous and moral in these convictions that visit suffering on other people?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, yes, yes.
Mom?
I don't understand the righteousness that he thinks that we're more righteous than anyone else. No, we're not.
No. He's saying you support these policies and these ideas that harm other people, in some cases them. Does that make you a...
You support these policies that harm other people that could lead up to potentially dying. Now, the dad just come out and said, yeah, a few could stand to die. We're overpopulated. Does that make you right or moral? Or are these moral standings?
A good guy in your mind, or are you just kind of embracing what's going on?
What do you think?
What's he doing?
What do you think?
Peeing?
Yes.
5 minutes into the show? Is this a bit?
He's been saying it all minute.
Why didn't he pee before the show?
I told him to. He doesn't do everything I ask.
You guys support all of these things.
Is this a bit? So that's the Necessary podcast. It's usually pretty good if you want to check it out. If you can stand to watch it, dude, they are full blown Trump humpers. Like, he can do no wrong. He's never lied. He's never done anything wrong. All of his businesses were amazing success. He's going to run the country just like his amazingly successful businesses that he had. Everything. Dad, you think this is made up? Hold on.
Yesterday, nationwide hands-off protests unfolded across the United States with over 1,000 individual demonstrations in cities all over the country in opposition to Trump and Musk and their recent policies, including reductions in federal programs, layoffs with the education department, defunding of...
Doze off.
We're listening. I said, I want to talk about this one. Go.
No, you're not. Every time I start reading one of these things, you guys start talking to each other and insulting me.
You're like toddlers.
Why do you do that?
I am not insulting you. I said, I want to talk about this one.
Hang on. I asked you this question. Why do you do it?
Do what?
Why do you talk when I'm reading these things? And Dad, why do you groan?
Because when you're reading these things, I don't care what you're saying.
Why not?
Because they're all made up horse shit.
Then just remain silent.
Again, unless it supports Trump, everything's fake. It's bullshit. It's made up. The left made it up. There are no protests. They aren't real. They're paid. They're actors. Trump never did anything wrong.
Dad, you
always.
think this is made up. Yesterday, nationwide hands-off protests unfolded across the United States with over 1,000 individual demonstrations in cities all over the country. Do you agree that that happened or not? Dad, do you agree that that happened?
Yes.
And now he's doing some kind of childish silent treatment.
Toddlers.
Now, what is it? Am I supposed to shut up or answer your bullshit?
You're supposed to answer this question. Do you believe that protests happened yesterday?
Yeah.
Oh, sure.
Yes.
Oh God, I could
What I'm saying
I
is
could
not-
punch him in the fucking
Not made
face.
up. You agree with it.
No.
Yes.
Yesterday, nationwide hands-off protests unfolded.
He said no. She said yes.
Mom, do you think because Elon Musk put $25 million behind this campaign, that is why they lost?
I don't know. I don't know.
You guys would both agree that public sentiment is heavily against Elon Musk.
No, it's against Tesla.
It's against Trump through Musk
Okay.
right now.
But popular sentiment, you're full of shit. There's 77 million people who like what he's doing. There's probably 37 million people who don't. The difference is the 37 million people shoot their big mouth off more.
How do you figure? 77 million support Trump, 37 million don't.
Then why do you think his stock has cratered and lost 50% of its value?
Because nobody's going to buy a car when a bunch of crazies are going to scratch it all up and set it on fire.
I see.
Okay.
So you think it's people just fear property damage against the car and it has nothing to do with ideology?
That's 100% accurate.
I think it's because they hate Trump. They're doing it.
Mom, do you think... All right, Dad,
Sorry, I got hooked again.
billionaires should be able to try to buy state elections like this?
Sure, they have been doing it for 100 years.
Okay, so not a big deal then.
No.
But you get mad.
Who cares? Just because, even if you believe that, even if you believe it's always been going on, should it be allowed to continue? Shouldn't we stop that? Even if in your head, in your mind, every election that's ever gone on in a state has been bought. Shouldn't we be trying to stop that? Not saying sure, that's what they do.
When you believe George Soros does it.
No, I don't get mad. I'm just telling you how that happens.
All right.
Now we finally got a billionaire on the other side of the coin.
Finally.
Oh my God. There's so many right-wing billionaires.
Look, both parties are corrupted by huge mega donors, billionaires. Both sides are. I'm not arguing that at all.
Democrats are.
Yeah.
No.
You don't think the Republicans are?
The difference between George Soros and Elon Musk is George Soros wants to destroy America. Elon Musk does not.
Okay.
And George Soros.
Oh, that's actually really good. My dad was a old school racist cop, a diehard Republican, but he gained wisdom with age. When my dad passed away, we were starting to talk about, I would get frustrated and we'd sit and talk about and laugh how fucking dumb Trump could be sometimes. But also sometimes he'd be like, he would I would be talking about how dumb something Trump did was. He's like, he would say, oh yeah, but he's got them tore up. He's just doing it so they pay attention to him. He's just doing it. He didn't know the word troll, but basically to troll them.
Soros did this.
But I did get some in there
Very
against him.
UK.
All right, Dad, let me ask.
The thing about Zuckerberg that you're missing, though, like you think everybody's just going to full stop Meta, and that's not true because there are businesses that rely on that shit, and I'm one of them. I'm gonna have no choice but to continue using Facebook and Instagram.
And we need TikTok. We need TikTok.
Well, Jeff Bezos seemingly is in line to buy TikTok.
Jesus Christ.
But they have extended the ban date. It was supposed to be April 7th. They extended it another 75 days. So we don't know.
That's good.
So is there a new platforming coming? Someone else?
Somebody's always making a new platform, and it just requires certain circumstances in society to be correct for that platform to kind of like take steam. But the idea that all people will continue to use these things is not right. I agree with you.
It's like all the planets aligning.
Businesses are going to have to, if that's where you are generating most of your.
Oh God.
Sorry, am I bothering you guys?
I told him, don't act like you're going to sleep. And I said, that's rude. And he said, I'm just closing my eyes.
Jesus Christ. All I ask is an hour a week to talk to your kids.
We're here. We're here.
To listen to you read?
No, we're having a conversation, Dad.
No, we're not.
I'm asking you as your son to talk to your kids.
It would be the ultimate move if by the end of this 4 years, he could get his dad to see the truth about Trump. But I just don't see it
For
happening.
an hour a week. That's all.
Yeah, so I can listen to your communist plot.
The thing about Zuckerberg that you're missing, though, like you think everybody's just
Haley, have you heard that Zuck, aka Mark Zuckerberg, head of Meta, head of Facebook, head of Instagram, head of WhatsApp, has purchased a $25 million mansion in DC next to the White House?
no. Oh my God.
Why would he do that?
He may be the next Musk. There's a lot of stuff that I've been reading is basically saying that Musk is on his way out. He knows that this whole plan was completely it has destroyed his car company, and now he's on shaky ground. So he's going to eject from politics, go back to being the billionaire leader of these companies, and then the next in line.
That's as credible as my ass with 3 holes in it.
I honestly, I think that Zuckerberg is the better pick when you talk about all the targeting data he brings from his companies. He's the better pick.
This one is more dangerous. So, I mean, we're talking about complete control of social media. We're talking about
He really healed our relationship. That's awesome.
propaganda, 100%. You get no news.
You know, there's a story I don't ever tell about my dad. My dad was like a tough guy, and he raised me kind of that mentality, like boys don't cry and, get up, rub some dirt on it kind of deal. And I'm fine with that. But one thing I don't hardly ever talk about is from the time I was probably like a teen, I guess, and older, my dad was uncomfortable saying, I love you, I guess, to me. Like, I don't know. It's just really weird. I heard him tell my sisters all the time, like, I love you. And I knew he loved me. It was just the actual saying of it to like another guy, I guess. When I went from like a boy to like a potential man, it was just like a weird barrier, right? And he was just uncomfortable saying that. And there were certain times that he told me, but it wasn't like every time he talked to my sisters, he would say, I love you, bye, on the phone or in person or whatever. And it was just, I noticed that, but I knew my dad loved me. It wasn't like a big deal. I'm not trying to do a therapy session here. I'm getting to a point, okay? I knew my dad loved me. I knew my mom told me all the time. And I knew through his actions that he loved me. It was just strange, okay? Then my dad calls me when I'm probably maybe like 19, 20 years old at like 3 o'clock in the morning, okay? And he is crying his eyes out. Like I can tell he has been so upset. Like he is like hyperventilating on the phone. Like I thought my mom had died or he was dying or something crazy was going on. I was nowhere near him. Hadn't talked to him in a few days. He calls me like hyperventilating. And he says that he just wanted to tell me that he loved me and that he basically knew that he knew that I knew that he loved me, but he should say it more and he should make sure that I know that he loves me no matter what and no matter what I do or what happens, that he loves me. And it was really, really, really fucking weird. Like it got me shook. So then that kind of ends up, and I'm like, are you okay? I mean, I love you too. Are you okay? Is everything going on? Blah, blah, blah. And he's like, no, I'm fine. I'm fine. I'm just getting calmed down, whatever. So he hangs up. So like the next day or a couple days later, I'm over seeing my mom and dad at like their house. And I'm like, I'm trying to ask mom like what the fuck happened or whatever without like getting him like upset. I don't want him to get upset, you know? And he overhears us. And apparently he had a dream. And he said it was the most, he just answers me. He overhears us, just answers. He has a dream. And he said it's the most realistic dream that he's ever had in his life. And that I was there as a kid. And his dad was there. My papa, who at this time had been dead for like 18 years or something. My papa died when I was real young. And that his dad tells him that he was making a mistake in the way that he was raising me. And there was going to be consequences if he didn't fix it immediately. And when he woke up from that dream, he freaked out, thought he had fucked up my whole like life or some shit, and freaks out, gets upset, and calls me just to tell me that he loves me. And from then on, he said it all the time. From that day forward, every time I talked to him on the phone, every time I saw him, every time we spoke in person, he said it the whole time. Crazy. So I don't know what dream he had, but he said he wasn't having it. He wasn't having it from that point forward.
Like, this one is far more dangerous than Elon Musk, in my opinion.
Good. Maybe it'll shut you communist.
I always tell the boys I love them. I tell them both every night, every time I talk to them, every time I leave the house.
So
I did read that where they were saying that Musk could be out, but then Donald Trump said no, his work is not done. He's leaving. He's going nowhere. He is not leaving. He's not going anywhere.
If Donald Trump said it, it must be true.
This is true.
Personally, I think Musk is about to bail. I think he's going to try and slink back to the shadows, and hopefully his, if he's not on TV all the time doing dumb shit, I think he hopes that his stock will go back up and all of his companies will be fine, because that's why he got into this in the first place, is to get more money for his companies. And now
I think that Elon Musk thinks that he can just throw off the political thing and go back to being a cool internet dad or whatever, and everything's going to go back to normal. And I think that's what he's also telling his he's also telling investors and board members and shit. And I don't think we should let him do that. Like, he's already fucked up so many people's fucking lives. Like, we shouldn't just let him be like, okay, I'm out of politics now, and we, go back to buying my cars and shit. No, I think he should be held accountable for what he's done.
it's backfiring. So I think he's going to try to run back home, tail between the legs, and make everything good again. If Zuckerberg becomes the next billionaire who gets that first buddy role, and it may just be a rotating cycle. We know from Trump's first term, people only last about 2 or 3 months in the orbit of Donald Trump before he excommunicates them. So if it is...
Well, that will make you guys happy.
If Zuckerberg becomes first buddy, absolutely it will not make me happy. But I do think this, Zuckerberg has that same kind of thirst for fame that Musk does. We've seen it in all of their, whenever they do a new Facebook rollout, he's like front and center, hey guys, let me show you about this and tell you about this. He wants to be on stage, and I think it will be, if he does that, it will be as big a disaster as it has been for Musk. I think people will wholesale stop using all of his products. Haley, have you heard?
Ooh, that will hurt businesses and shit that use Facebook and Instagram for sales. All right, we got another one. So this is our update. So this is Vitelli. This is the guy that did like the Predator stream. This guy actually has a really funny stream. One of the funniest streams is Vitelli Acon Predator. So he catches one of these predators, and usually they beat the hell out of them, slap them, hit them, whatever. He catches one of these predators in a live stream, and instead of beating the hell out of him, he has Akon show up and sing the song Locked Up. That's fucking crazy. That's a pretty funny stream. But again, all the benefit goes towards people that are going around and fucking with people. So this is a guy that was over in the Philippines just fucking with people, stealing people's stuff, throwing shit, scaring people, asking people crazy things, and threatening people. He stole the cop's hat, all that shit. And it seems like the president viewed his stream and they decided to throw him in prison, which is what he deserves.
Oh boy, well, I don't think things can be too worse.
We just watched a video on this, by the way. The reason this is the update is because we already watched a video of him grabbing the police hat and threatening people on the street and acting retarded. So now here come the consequences.
The absolute moron of an IRL streamer, Vitaly, as the president of the Philippines just made a reaction video to his incredibly stupid live stream. If you live stream yourself committing several crimes in a foreign country and the president of the nation reacts to it saying, hey, we're not going to be lenient here, what do you even say to that? I guess it's just safe to say that you're in for a bad time. Obviously, we're talking about Vitaly, one of the original pranksters on YouTube who completely crashed out in the worst way possible.
Oh, I forgot that. Do you guys remember when YouTube was the central hub of every prank show? Weird pranks, sexual pranks. It would say something like, tricks mom and daughter gone wrong, sexual. And it would be the fakest pranks. One of them, this was a famous one that got shared everywhere. They were all fake, okay? They started doing pranks. Pranks were doing really good, but you have to always one up. Do something bigger, do something better, do something grander. So eventually they ran out of pranks that people would actually believe, so they started faking them. The Joey Salads was a New York guy who became super famous doing this, just like Vitaly. He did the Trump car parked in the hood and the Obama car parked in a white neighborhood. And all of a sudden, he parked this Trump car in this black neighborhood. And all of a sudden, black people come out of nowhere and just start beating up the car and attacking it. And it went super viral. Like, news agencies were sharing it as a social experiment. And all of it was fake. He went and found a bunch of guys that were standing around that were all black. And he paid them $50 a piece to go beat the shit out of this car. And then when he parked it in the white neighborhood, when he parked the Obama car, or Hillary car, whatever it was, in the white neighborhood, he didn't pay anybody to beat it up. All that was fake. And they used it to foment so much race stuff and political stuff and lies to everybody. Like, it was fucking insane.
By attacking a random jogger in Miami. Then came back a few years later and actually did pretty well streaming until his entire team left him. Now, you can speculate why that would happen, but eventually he decided to fly out to the Philippines and join forces with another kick streamer by the name of Sly Kane, who's a Filipino and actually is currently wanted, but this is the guy who filmed him while he was being an absolute moron in the Philippines. And these actions range from stealing motorcycles to crashing a tuk-tuk, threatening to rob a woman, stealing multiple security guards' hats, stealing an industrial fan from a restaurant, stealing a red light mask from a vendor, and harassing dozens of people. And actually, now there's more things that came to light, so more charges will be added shortly, because you know the thing about these IRL streamers is they live stream themselves committing all these felonies. So all the
literally committing crimes. But when you're on the front page of Kick and you've got 10,000 viewers, you're making money. They need to stop incentivizing this. There needs to be some type of bot that sees you're going around and stressing people out, pressing people on the fucking street. That shit gets pulled down. They shouldn't be incentivizing it.
Prosecutors have to do is just sit and go through all their streams and charge them accordingly. Overall, just a terrible idea to do this in a country that has their jail cells that look like this. A few things have happened since we last covered the situation. More clips of Vitaly acting like a moron in the Philippines have resurfaced, as already stated. Clips of the jail that he's been held in has came out. The president has reacted to his live stream he's facing 24 years in prison for, and his cameraman seems to be on the run, as he's wanted for questioning, and he's
the cameraman has dipped the fuck out. He's wanted for questioning, and he's not going to be part of it.
Live streaming on Kick rather than turning himself in. So we have quite the video today, but let's start with the president. So on April 14th, President Ferdinand Marcos Jr. sat down and reacted to Vitaly's live stream. And here he had quite a few things to say about Vitaly.
Give me your story now. Give me your story now. Give me right. Yes, I can think of it. Ang isa pa nating nakita ngayong linggo, yung kagalit-galit na pinanggagawa ng isang foreign blogger.
Infuriating actions of a foreign vlogger. Whether these acts were jokes or not. What Filipino wouldn't get mad at these?
Ang dugo sa napapanood natin.
It's very sad that this has become a trend in social media,
bahagi na ng social media na nagkakaroon
where vloggers would often just annoy, bother, and disrespect other people just to get more views.
Mga vlogger na nanggugulo lang, nang aasar lang, nang buwisit lang, nang babastos lang para makakuha ng mga viewers.
Yeah, if you have the president saying who wouldn't be mad at that behavior, there's a low chance of him actually being let out anytime soon. It's kind of dystopian to watch a president of a nation address degenerate IRL streamers, but
it is crazy.
2025 actions will have 2025 like reactions.
Huwag tayong sasama dyan sa ganyang klaseng.
Let us not encourage this kind of attitude. It is not in the nature of Filipino to act like this.
Ganyang klaseng ugali. Hindi naman ganyan ang ugaling Pilipino. Asahan ninyo yung mga
do expect that we will not tolerate these actions.
Magawa ng ganyan na hindi natin pababayaan na patuloy nilang ginagawa yan. Tapos na po ang mga dayuhan, akala nila
The time where foreigners think they can just come here and do blasphemous acts and disrespect Filipinos is over.
mga Pilipino. Ito ay ehemplo.
That would be set as an example of how serious we are in tolerating these not tolerating these
The government
actions.
just announced that Vitaly will be used as an example to show the world that they will not tolerate this behavior. I think Vitaly somehow has landed at the top of the list when it comes to social media Darwinism. He essentially let his hunger for clout completely destroy his life for extremely little upside. And the dude clearly was in absolute denial even after the press conference when they perp walked him out in front of the entire nation. By that time, he had already been to that jail.
Like, he's big news there.
In denial. Is he like, oh, okay, I'll just be in this holding cell for a couple of weeks and then I'll be out? Unfortunately, that's not the case with him. Meanwhile, his cameraman's
He even live streamed when he come to turn himself in like it was a fucking joke. Like, still fucking with the police, talking shit about being out soon, and this is a joke, and whatever, dude, we'll do what it, like, I don't know. He thinks he's famous enough to fuck with people in the Philippines, I guess, but he's not.
and Sly Kane is now on the run. He apparently changed his hair color from pink to blue. I guess that'll really make him blend in. And as I said previously, he's currently wanted for questioning. But the complete moron is spending his time IRL streaming. The dude is literally showing where he is on a live stream. And I guess he's on the run? This might be dumber than the people who are running from the cops and live streaming on Facebook the police chase. This is very similar. It's kind of baffling. I guess just certain IRL streamers are just some of the most fascinating criminals because who in their right mind would live stream all their crimes and then live stream themselves on the run? Like, you would think this is a parody, but I guess this is just the new reality. Meanwhile, more footage of Vitaly's behavior in the Philippines have now just came out.
Follow me, follow me.
Wait.
I need toilet, please, toilet, please. I'm about to take. No. This is not how you make the burger. Show me how you do it.
This is a fucking restaurant, dude. Could you imagine doing this in the States?
Don't worry about it. I got it. Don't worry. I'm the manager. My name is Vitaly. McDonald. Ronald McDonald.
Imagine adding trespassing and disruption of a business to your criminal record in the Philippines for a terrible joke on your live stream. Dude must have just been way too used to living in LA, as he just assumes by default that there will be no consequences as long as he doesn't commit a serious crime. But then to make things even worse for himself, he doesn't end the joke there. He continues to harass these employees and then steals the food.
The manager told me to cook. We need some salt and pepper, so maybe look for it. All right, I guess so. Salt, give me salt.
No, that's
Can I have salt, please, sir?
Sir,
Sorry, don't worry. Don't worry. I'm cooking. I'm making a meal. Okay, we're out. That's it. I'll bake.
It's kids, right? So it's like teens and below that like this shit. That think he's cool because it's fucking, I can't believe he's doing this. It's wild. It's crazy. They would probably never do it, but they're entertained by someone doing this. It's children.
Let me see what I just cooked.
Yeah, I know he said he was going to pay for it there, but I didn't see him pay for it. But overall, I mean, he somehow just lowered the bar from his past content. Like back in the day, Vitaly would harass minimum wage workers here in the US for content. Now he's going to less privileged countries to harass their minimum wage workers for content. It's like he started falling down a staircase a decade ago and he's still falling down that same staircase today. The dude took a 15-hour flight to harass strangers for content and ended up being locked up in an absolute nightmare jail. Apparently, the place that he's in is known as the Gulag.
Now, they call it the Gulag, an immigration detention center in the Philippines that has been making headlines for all the wrong reasons. Detainees claim the center is squalid, rat-infested, and overcrowded.
Right. Here's some more recent footage.
He's currently locked up in Camp Bagong Diwa, which isn't exactly a wellness retreat. It's overcrowded, undersupplied, and looks like something out of a post-apocalyptic horror flick. Think sweat, mildew.
Probably not a place you want to go to jail in.
Personal space is the inside of a sardine can. This isn't a short...
Dude, when I... Overseas, it terrifies me going to jail overseas.
Stay.
Even like some weird misunderstanding, or they find out you're American, they're trying to extort you, or they find out that... international courts have wanted to try me for war crimes, like something crazy happening.
Wait and holding overnight and post bail in the morning. Because there is no bail. That's right. Zero bail, zilch, nada. And no, it's not because someone forgot to process the paperwork. It's because he is considered a flight risk, a foreigner with no strong ties to the country other than a criminal record forming in real time. The authorities aren't taking chances. He's staying put.
And I guess what makes this just so incredibly ironic is apparently
Yeah, he's got money. If they let him out on bail, he would 100% skip bail.
Wanted to go to jail.
Nobody controls me. If I go to jail, I'll go to jail. I'm a grown man. But you, I respect you. I am coming down. I am. I'm going to go eat. I'm good. I'm having fun with the chat. I know what I'm doing. It's not my first rodeo. And I'm not going to say, oh, don't arrest me. Here's the money. I will go to jail. I'm a proud man. I love jail. I get it up there for free. I don't have to pay.
Come on, dude. I mean, he made his own bed here. And I still don't even understand why he did all this. There's so much content of his streams when he's out in the Philippines where he's actually being a great guy, giving away phones and shoes to not so fortunate people. But still, he decided to do all of this on top of that. Why wouldn't he just still keep his streams at being a nice guy, giving away to the less fortunate, and just continue making content without harassing random locals? And he wouldn't have been in jail right now. He wouldn't be banned on Kick, and he wouldn't be facing decades in prison in
Finally got banned.
Philippines. It's like, dude, you were almost there. You were on the right path. Watching some of the clips of him actually being positive, it's good content. It's actually not bad at all. But then, right after he gives away some phones, he immediately goes out and starts harassing people. It's like, dude, you're almost there. But for some reason, I guess he had the urge to where he thought that the only way he would gain a viewership is if he harassed strangers or did like crazy things. And there might be some truth to that, but the extra bump in viewers is not worth a decade in prison. Because I'm hearing it'll take roughly 1.5 to 3 years just for him to get sentenced. And then most likely the sentence is going to be anywhere from 3 to 10 years, which is insane. Absolutely not worth the attention on Kick. It's kind of crazy to say, but it seems like best case, this guy is going to get out of prison in his 40s. But during that stream that caused this downfall, the Kick mods actually started getting onto him saying, hey, we're going to have to ban you for what's currently going on. And this is how he responded.
Really? My content's too much. Helping people is too much.
Helping people.
Oh, thank you guys for W stream, bro. I'm gonna talk to the big boss.
Dude, just because you donated money doesn't give you a free pass to go harass strangers on the street. But apparently the higher ups on Kick, they were not having it whatsoever.
How come you guys don't tell the big boss what I do? Moderators, Kick moderators, if you're in the chat, how come you don't tell Eddie, how come you don't tell the big boss, other names, Akila and everybody, what I do on Kick? Yo, Vitaly's changing lives. He's gambling with losses and wins and helping lives. As soon as I do something wild, did you say anything to them what I'm actually doing? Exactly, bro. I'm on Kick for a reason. W Kick, W Eddie, W everybody on the team.
Again, dude did a lot of charity on his stream, but that's no excuse for the laundry list of felonies that he live streamed himself doing. The only reason he did all that is because he was streaming on Kick.com. So I'm not surprised Kick banned him. But honestly, that's the least of his problems. It'll definitely be interesting to see what happens and when his first hearing will be. But either way.
And it's bad press for them. If they're trying to get new streamers to go there, which they need, right? Because it's like a new platform. They're trying to get new streamers to go there and sign contracts with people. They don't want this all over the news.
Be covering it, so definitely
their name in it.
Here, and I'll see you in tomorrow's video. Peace.
I don't know if there's been any more updates, but this is Atozy. Check him out on YouTube. He covers a lot of these guys and a lot of other crazy things. This is the one that had to flee Korea. This is a different one though. A different IRL streamer. This is the black guy.
This disrespectful streamer just fled Korea after the police confronted him to avoid.
What's his name, guys?
I'm gonna get a strong zero right now. Big mafia, big boys.
To show you that it's just not Vitaly. There's multiple ones.
Is that a girl? Hello?
Johnny Somali. You're right.
Are you a girl? Oh, no, I want you. What's up, baby? You got a fat.
Stop freezing, you piece of shit.
No. Go that extra. I want you, baby. Look at that, bro.
God
this disrespectful streamer just fled Korea after the police confronted him to avoid charges.
I got a hose. I'm gonna get a strong zero right now. Big mafia, big boys, big. That's a girl? Well, that's a girl. I want her. Is that a girl? Hello? Are you a girl? Oh, no, I want you. What's up, baby? You got a fat ass. No. Go that extra. I want you, baby. Look at that, bro.
The bar has been set so low for IRL stream.
This is in Korea, dude. And Asian people are typically like super quiet and respectful and like well-mannered.
And somehow, things just keep on getting more tragic. And because of how this guy acts, he's now been labeled as the new Golden Goblin after disrespecting people around in South Korea and Japan and being reported by news channels worldwide. I mean, you can't make this up. How are they multiplying? Who in their right mind sees Johnny Somali facing over a decade in South Korean prison and goes, I want to do that? What is wrong with these people? Come on. Also, to quickly explain the Golden Goblin term,
Johnny Somali has been banned from a bunch of different countries.
Who are frustrated with these people coming into their country and live streaming themselves harassing people for clout. So they started putting bounties on knocking these people out. Johnny Somali was the first example of that. And the reason for the term Golden Goblin is if you knock them out, they drop loot, like a video game. But in this case, the loot is whatever bounty they put on him. For Johnny, it was rumored to be around $10,000. So we're not talking about small sums of money. That's actually kind of a crazy.
Some person was going to pay $10,000 if you could find him while he's live streaming and knock him the fuck out. A $10,000 bounty. That's why he's the Golden Goblin.
Easy amount of loot right there. But if you followed my channel for a while, you probably know that I've been covering plenty of nuisance streamers disturbing the peace in foreign countries, especially in Asia recently. Over the past few weeks, we have Johnny Somali. I guess that was just the beginning. Then you had Joshua Block in Japan and Vitaly now in the Philippines. But this guy today might be taking the crown for the dumbest speedrun to jail. Or well, almost jail because he ended up fleeing the country after all this happened. Because what's actually kind of crazy is this guy had somewhat of a legitimate career before all this went down. So meet Dave Willis, also known as Black Dave, a former rapper and professional skateboarder who was known back in the day for blending hip-hop and skating in custom-made music videos.
It's Black Dave and you rocking with Group 1. Let's turn up. New York City, we in this, so you can. Let's go.
In 2012, he dropped a song called Black Donald Trump and joined a hip-hop/punk crew called Black Punk, in which he stayed a member until 2016 when Dave announced that he would no longer be making rap music.
I put on my Instagram that I lost motivation to create rap music. I feel like I'm just creating music for what people want to hear and not for who I am and really what I want to put out there.
Fast forward a couple years and he became a New York-based influencer and YouTuber. He gained most of his traction on Instagram, where he had most of his followers, but over time he's given quite a few interviews on podcasts and other media vehicles, primarily for his skateboarding, rapping, and his role in New York City. I mean, he was even trusted enough that No Jumper chose him to interview Ice Spice in 2022. So it's safe to say Black Dave had somewhat of a niche carved out for himself, not only by the audience, but also by his colleagues. However, if that was all, and his story stopped there, we wouldn't really be talking about him here on this channel. So
Obviously.
How do we go from interviewing major artists to allegedly assaulting Korean citizens for live stream content? Well, in an interview, Dave tells us that it all started last year when he watched Ice Poseidon's scavenger hunt streams, and he ended up going, you know what?
Ice Poseidon's like an OG of like getting banned. He's the one that we've talked about him before. That's where the website IP2 comes from. He is the one who basically... So here's how IRL streaming started. You guys remember Pokemon Go? Before, there were very few IRL. IRL stands for in real life, out in the town, walking around, whatever, right? Before Pokemon Go, there were very, very, very few people streaming from their phone. Most people were playing games, and there really wasn't a category for it. Okay? So Pokemon Go comes along. Pokemon Go already has you outside, and people wanted to stream it. So they're taking one phone and another phone and streaming them playing Pokemon Go. Okay? When they were streaming Pokemon Go, they were having these interactions with people, right? They were coming up to people and talking to them and weird interactions and stuff. And Ice Poseidon was one of the people that were doing that. So he did have basically the idea to, instead of even streaming Pokemon Go, just leave the Pokemon Go out of it and just go walk around and stream and talk to people. And it was a sensation. The problem was he did it like an idiot, right? Nothing was off limits. He would say wild things. He would do wild things if chat wanted him to for donations. He ends up buying a house in LA and puts the address out. Anybody can come through at any time and come right into his home. And he's live streaming 24 hours a day. He does these streams where he doesn't sleep. He doesn't eat. He does these wild streams. He says wild racist things to people. Well, the big thing that got him busted was, at the time, there was a lot of people that would dox him. So he'd be streaming somewhere, and they'd say, he's here, go there, and people would get on his stream. They'd just pop up and be like, are you streaming? Are you Ice Poseidon? And they get on it, and they might say something crazy to try to get him banned or do something crazy. He's in an airport flying, and he leaks his flight number and the airport and gate he's at. Okay? He leaks it. And people are like, you just leaked your flight. You just leaked your fucking flight. So now somebody's going to get it shut down, calling a bomb threat, blah, blah, blah. And he's like, no, you won't. No, you won't. He basically dares them. He basically dares them to get him kicked off his flight. And they do. And the whole airport's shut down. Everything happens. It hits the news. The airport's shut down. They have to bring in a bomb squad, blah, blah, blah. They end up putting him in handcuffs, all this stuff. And Twitch bans him. So then he goes to a new platform and just does the exact same thing. And Ice Poseidon basically started all of this, the IRL genre.
I want to live stream in New York City.
Perfect opportunity to like start something off. You know, it was almost like the cards fell in my hand. It was up to me. It was like, do you want to do this or not? Everybody's in your city right now. Take advantage. So
just like Ice, Dave chose Kick as a central platform, a decision that would eventually come back to bite him, but surprisingly not for the main reason I'm talking about today. And to be fair, his content here in the US was pretty tame and mild compared to some of the other stuff that I've been covering here on this channel. He would occasionally do something stupid, but still, the worst he did back then was manually try to open some gate barrier, break it, then flee the scene, rather than simply paying. Yeah, it's pretty stupid.
Hi, bro.
Yeah, I've seen that joke like all over social media.
Bro, this place?
No. Breaking shit.
Get me out of here. 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 Get me out of here.
Why, dude? Why? And why live stream yourself doing it? Well, then you had a clip where he got arrested for parking his bike in front of a small grocery store.
Hi. Why, do you? Something wrong? No, but it's 50cc. I was told 50cc. I don't need a plate. And I literally just came from upstairs. All my stuff is upstairs. I was told it's upstairs. Yeah. Oh my god. All right, stream. I'm getting arrested, guys. No, I have to at least turn my
So there he is getting arrested.
stuff off. Just allow me to turn. I'm turning.
Yeah, it's fine.
That's all. Okay, I'm giving it to you. I'm giving it to you. On the ground. Take it back.
And then another time where some random guy crashed into his bike, even though, to be fair, that last one wasn't Dave's fault.
What are we talking about? Oh, you're dude. And I just cut my whole hand up because you. So where's my skateboard, bro? Where's my shit, bro? You're an idiot, dude. What you mean? You just ran the light. What do you mean? I was reading this way. Go ahead. Idiot.
So, compared to Johnny Small,
that was a pretty viral clip.
Hall of Fame idiotic behavior, Dave was just some guy who genuinely was live streaming his life. You know, the actual point of IRL streaming. But clearly, he also live streamed himself doing some absolute dumb shit. From time to time, Dave collaborated with other smaller US IRL streamers who he called friends. From Kick streamers to Twitch streamers to YouTube and even Rumble influencers. One of these guys was OG Geezer, a Las Vegas-based IRL streamer who also calls himself the OG Majestic Lion. And to put things lightly, he's a problematic character. And also becomes important to the story later on. But more recently, he got in touch with Ice Poseidon himself, a guy who admittedly inspired Dave in the first place and basically is the grandfather of IRL streaming, even though he's had his fair share of absolute moronic moments throughout his career. And when Ice went out to Japan to live stream 24/7, Dave was one of the characters who started showing up in those live streams. And at first, things seemed to be okay. Dave really wanted to distance himself from the nuisance streamer title, and even made a point to go to the actual comfort statue and pay his respects, because he wanted to demonstrate that he actually respected the Koreans and their culture.
Here, I'm here to give peace, love, and show respect for this statue and what it represents. We are not nuisance streamers. We show love, we show peace, and
Oh god.
Even though I couldn't find a clip of Dave,
That's not gonna come back to bite him in the ass. I'm sure.
which is Ice Poseidon's group, or interacting with the guys before the trip to the Asian countries, Dave clearly stated his loyalty to his colleagues, especially when he defended Ice Poseidon when some fan kind of pressed him.
yeah.
Yo, are you friend of Johnny Somali?
No, he's not. He's not. He's not. Why you say that though?
No, that
motherfucker's
going to jail.
Okay, so why you touching
He's going to jail.
You ain't gotta touch nobody though. You good, bro?
I ain't touching you, bro.
You just touched him though.
I'm just drunk.
You good though? Back up
I'm
though.
trying to make friends, bro.
Are you a fan? Are you a fan of Ice?
Yes.
So show love, bro.
I am. Hey, bro.
All right, bro. Come cordial.
Respect.
Don't come like, are you a friend of Johnny Somali? Sound like you trying to press, bro. Relax, bro. You good, bro?
The drama.
And you're a little slow, bro. So we gotta watch out for you, bro. All right?
But you understand the drama though.
Johnny Somali, what now? Johnny Somali, what now?
He's about to run.
Okay.
Okay, so while that's good and all, the thing about claiming that you're not a nuisance streamer, your actions kind of have to back that up as well. And the problem is, Dave's actions speak way louder than his words, and his actions in Korea and Japan tell
They're going to ruin this for anybody that wants to go stream and like do legitimate streams like in a foreign country.
a very different story from what
Americans are already kind of looked down upon as tourists around the world as like rude and mean and all that shit, right? Now we got idiots over here doing the most disrespectful shit.
Initially said. For example, when he started following a woman around a convenience store in Japan being an absolute waste of space in society.
Bro, I got a hose. I'm gonna get a strong zero right now. Big Chin Chin Mafia, Big Chin Chin boys, that's a girl? Well, that's a girl. I want her. Is that a girl? Hello? Are you a girl? Oh, no, I want you. What's up, baby? You got a fat ass. No. Fuck all that extra shit. I want you, baby. Look at that ass, bro. I want that, bro. She thick as hell, bro. I like thick Johns, bro. No. Fuck all that extra shit. Let me get your number.
Really? This is what we're doing now? Calling him pathetic would be an understatement. Like, seeing people act like this is always a great reminder that your life is actually going pretty well if you don't need to be
how fucking horrible.
To make a living. I mean, there are many other clips of him being disrespectful to people who
it gets worse.
Their own business. Like when he got into this taxi with his phone on low battery.
Plug in. Can you please plug in, sir? Please, bro. Plug this in, bro.
Oh man, I mean, if there's a language barrier, yelling at them because you can't control your emotions will not help you. If you simply use a translation app like
because his streaming phone was gonna go dead.
Your life will be infinitely easier, and you won't be giving Americans and influencers a garbage reputation over there. I mean, the simple action of just being respectful will get you so far in life. But the worst incident, and the main reason for this video, must be when he allegedly assaulted a man in Seoul while he was trying to get into a car.
Oh, burger. Yo, don't touch me, bro. You don't touch me. Don't touch me. What's up with you? What's wrong with you? Get in that car. Get in that car. What's wrong with you? It's crazy out here, son. I'll break your neck.
While we couldn't really see exactly what happened in this video, Korean media has been referring to this as an assault. And whatever happened was serious enough that someone called the police, who later arrived at the scene.
What did I do, bro? I'm not doing anything, bro. What did I do? Literally, what did I do?
No, what did I do, bro? No, what did I just do, though? Nah, what did I do, bro? I'm literally trying to go home, bro. Okay. I'm going home, bro. No, I'm trying to go home. Let me go home, bro. Let me go home, bro. Please. Go home, bro. Please. I'm going home.
So this interaction was pretty similar to the first interactions that Johnny Somali had with the police in Korea. They didn't really have enough to arrest him, but it was clear that they started investigating him. And some Twitter users wasted no time in calling Dave the new Golden Goblin. And just like what happened with the original Golden Goblin, the Korean news channels were all over this.
A video recently surfaced on an online community showing a foreign YouTuber assaulting a pedestrian during a live broadcast in Korea. The YouTuber, identified as rapper Black Dave, appeared to have been reacting to the pedestrian parking his car on the sidewalk. In the footage, the YouTuber suddenly approached the man who was about to enter his vehicle, punched him in the face, and insulted him. The victim staggered, visibly shaken by the totally unexpected attack. While his actions may be seen as vigilante justice by some, violence is never justifiable or condoned in the country's criminal justice system and will most likely result in the perpetrator being prosecuted. The situation was particularly dangerous as the victim was wearing glasses, which could have led to more severe injuries.
So after all these reports blew up, Dave, I guess, learned something from the Johnny Somali incident and got up and fled the country. He was out of there so fast.
Out of that bitch.
He clearly was like, I am not spending a decade in jail here. I'm not going to be caught up in some legal limbo situation for the next year. So he just bounced right back to the US. And then after he got back to the US, he made a response video to this.
So I appreciate Korea so much. In the future, I'm going to learn from my mistakes and learn how to move better. I believe at the end of the video, I reacted in a way that I shouldn't have. I got very angry and I reacted verbally. But again, I did not lay a hand on that gentleman and he did not lay a hand on me. Kick has already had a lot of bad publicity with Johnny Somali. And I want to let people know I'm not a Johnny Somali 2.0. I don't respect him. I don't want to be like him. So it's unfortunate that I'm being compared to him. I just got a little character.
But he's literally just doing those things.
Just trying to be funny, just trying to make a joke out of this man.
They're just fucking nuisance streamers. And some of them go all the way to fucking violence and shit.
So look, he tries to open the door. He can't get in. I was just walking by and saw that. As soon as he looks at me, is when it happens. You see his hand. You see his fist go up. You see his fist go up. You see his hand go up. That's when the camera goes out of focus. This is his hand right here. This is his hand right here. You see his hand go up. That's when it goes out of focus. You see his fist right here, his knuckles. That's his knuckles. But they tried to put this clip before it to make it seem like I'm getting paid to do this or I'm getting subs and doing this for subs. It was two completely separate moments.
I mean, that could also just be him punching from you running up in his face because he didn't do anything to provoke you to get that close. But
yeah, don't run up on a motherfucker.
Have a better angle. But despite the public disturbance,
it's not funny, but kids understand. The reason kids watch it is because they know these are things you shouldn't be doing. But here's somebody doing them. Are they going to get in trouble? Is somebody going to do anything? Can we watch him until he gets arrested? Is somebody going to attack him or punch him or hit him? Kids, watch it blindly.
His passage through Korea and Japan went relatively smooth, even after things got a little bit more serious for him. But even if he managed to escape his potential repercussions in Korea.
Anytime, someone said this the other day, anytime there's an unexplained phenomenon on social media, you blame kids that typically aren't even old enough to use the platform. Most platforms are 13, 16, 18, depending on what they are. When there's this weird phenomenon nobody can explain, and people are like, why is this interesting? Like the robot. You remember when everybody was on TikTok pretending to be robot and getting donations, and they were like, I eat corn the long way. Well, that's what I said, but they were saying other things. That was kids.
It's safe to say his actions started catching up to him because just a few days later, when Dave was already back in New York, he got into a fight with his old friend, OG Geezer, who we briefly mentioned earlier. And since he was broadcasting everything when it happened, he immediately got banned on Kick. OG Geezer was also live on YouTube and Rumble then, but his channels weren't affected on either platform. So I guess that's really it. That's where the story ends, at least for now. As of recording this video, Dave is still banned on Kick, not for allegedly assaulting someone in Korea, but for that incident of fighting OG Geezer in some apartment in New York. I feel like the most unreasonable thing about this whole story is these guys watch Johnny get into some serious legal trouble for everything he's done in Korea in the last few months, and then turn around and go and do the exact same thing. I guess the only thing he learned from Johnny was as soon as he got into some serious hot water, he bounced before it was too late. But either way, just acting this ignorant is pathetic at this point. And all while trying to explicitly distance themselves from the image and insisting that they're not nuisance streamers. If you're not a nuisance streamer, don't act like one. Because come on, the irony is pretty painful with this one. But other than that, feel free to subscribe if you're new here, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.
Make sure you check out Atozy over on YouTube. I'll share his link right quick. Here you go. And I want to read you a special message. Special message about Easter, okay? From the bottom of my heart. Yeah. I felt like I should share this with you, okay? Happy Easter to all, including the radical left lunatics who are fighting and scheming so hard to bring murderers, drug lords, dangerous prisoners, the mentally insane, and well-known MS-13 gang members and wife beaters back into our country. Happy Easter to all the weak, ineffective judges and law enforcement officials who are allowing the sinister attack on our nation to continue. An attack so violent that it will never be forgotten. Sleepy Joe Biden purposefully allowed millions of criminals to enter our country, totally unvetted and unchecked, through an open borders policy that will go down in history as the single most calamitous act ever perpetrated upon America. He was by far our worst and most incompetent president. A man who had absolutely no idea what he was doing. But to him, and to the person that ran and manipulated the auto pen, perhaps our real president, and to all the people who cheated in the 2020 presidential election in order to get this highly destructive moron elected, I wish you, with great love, sincerity, and affection, a very happy Easter. Donald J. Trump, 4/20/25, 8:46 a.m. That is the President of the United States, a self-claimed devout Christian, wishing you a happy Easter. Could you imagine if any other fucking president posted anything like this? What would they have done with Obama if he'd have talked about firing squads and lunatics and the radical and how they cheated him and how they destroyed him and how they what would they have done to Obama? And don't forget, 5 minutes after this was posted, 5 minutes after this posted, the retards were screeching about how we should all come together, but the left just won't do it. Nothing screams Jesus has risen like calling half the country deranged lunatics. Thank you guys for joining us. Thank you for being here. Hope you had a happy Easter. That is a direct quote from the President of the United States. I did not make any of that up. I just read it, and I yelled in the parts that were capitalized. That was it. Thank you guys for joining us. Thank you for being here. Please consider supporting the show. We're kind of in a tight spot right now. Some of the stuff that had to do with Helene is over now, and we're still not back to work. So this is basically my income source, this and the VA. So if you can support the stream, we greatly appreciate it. If you can't, no big deal. We'll be here when you come back. Thank you guys for joining us. Thank you for being here. I'll be back tomorrow and talk to you guys later. Love you. See you. Bye.
But I can tell you this about if this douchebag happens to see this particular show, you don't have the forking balls to call out the people on this planet by name and tell them exactly who they are and tell them the rest of the world who they are. You don't have the forking balls. You don't have the balls.
Okay, Scott.
Here we go, I think I started some shit. Listen off, it's about to get lit. Get the place in the best, you know that stage is set. You better buckle up, cause you ain't seen none yet. Here we go, I think I started some shit. Listen off, it's about to get lit. Get the place in the best.
Coldbeer.fund if you want to support the show. We greatly appreciate it right now. It's a tough time right now. I do need to fix Patreon. If you want to sign up for Patreon, we got to do some Patreon content. If you'd rather get something for your donation, that'd be great. If not, I understand. Times are tough for everybody right now. And it doesn't seem like it's going to get easier. It seems like it's going to get harder. So, I understand completely. Thank you, guys.
He's strapped to the shaft, beating his chest like he's King Kong. Starving for attention, I'ma make your gut burst. I'll be your huckleberry, I can quench that thirst. Baby eating lizard people, alien sex. What's next? Trump in a dress, fucking Flynn on his desk. A retard in a vest, climbing up 5G towers. Cause you told him if he did, he'd get fucking superpowers. Here we go, I think I started some shit. Piss him off, it's about to get lit. Get the place in the best, you know that stage is set. You better buckle up, cause you ain't seen none yet. Here we go, I think I started some shit. Piss him off, it's about to get lit. Get the place in the best, you know that stage is set. You better buckle up, cause you ain't seen none yet. I used to find clues too when I was high on shrooms. I found myself a tunnel that led to Jason Q's bedroom. Open his closet, I found some of his meat rockets. I strapped it to my shoes and then I flew through the roof. I found myself himself in orbit, strapped to an F-16. High on amphetamine, with Trump in between. Put on a light coat of baby oil and saluted the troops. He tapped me on the shoulder and said, "This is gonna be it." Wait. Stop. What? I'll get my files. What are you doing? Stop. Hold on. Fucking stop. Dude, come on. Seriously. This is Bomb's an alcoholic.